Watching an older man, his entire legacy being dismantled before our eyes, it's tough to watch. I'm only a human being. But on the other side of the coin, I don't feel bad because he's a lying loser. So on a lighter note, Joe Biden, which is always a lighter note. Talk about weird segues, right? Lighter note, who just I can't even. I mean, it's weird. It's like a walk. I need it. I need to get like emotionally reset. It's like a walking comedy act, and candidly, it's almost sad to watch at this point. It really is. But it's not sad to watch because it's sad to watch a human being melt down so publicly. But on the other hand, ladies and gentlemen, it's not sad to watch as a commentator on the political environs of the time, because Joe Biden is doing things that are honestly and candidly immoral, unethical, and just awful. Here's one of them, because we got the New Hampshire primary coming up tomorrow, which I'll have full coverage on. Don't you worry. Right now, Bernie Sanders is the runaway favorite. Buttigieg could pull up second. This could be the end of Biden's campaign for the presidency. We'll see. He may not even make it to South Carolina. He's getting desperate. And Joe, as you well know, remember we always give a shout out, God rest his soul, to the great Tom Maher, radio host at WCBM.
Yep.
What did Tom Maher? You're a racist. Every time Democrats get in trouble like Joe Biden and their campaign starts to collapse, what do? They go right back to their comfort zone, which is accusing other people of being racist. Every time. It is a foolproof 100% formula, not for success, for failure, but the Democrats go back to it. And why? They go back to it because we live in a country, thankfully, that largely, of course, we're going to have episodes of racism. We're a country full of human beings, sinners. We're going to have people out there who do stupid things. But we are a country that is largely a wonderful place, accepting of all people. And the reason identity politics, you're a racist, attacks, they think they work, is precisely, Joe, because we are not a racist country. Do you get that? Do you get the... Now, I know the conservatives and libertarians and Republicans listening get this, but to the Democrats and liberals listening, I'm asking you to seriously try to process, chew on this for a moment. What I'm telling you, the reason attacks that impugn people for being racist, falsely so in many cases, by the Democrats are so devastating, or they think they're devastating, is because being a racist is considered such a horrible thing in a non-racist country. If we were a racist country where everybody couldn't stand people of other races, calling people a racist wouldn't be an attack. That was like a cross between the Fonz and a confused guy. Do you get it? But the Democrats always go back to this. Now, without further ado, here's Biden, an unbelievably false, defamatory smear on President Trump, saying something categorically false, which I'm going to debunk right here because I'm really, really tired of this BS. Check this out.
You see these white supremacists coming out from under the rocks. He has yet once to condemn white supremacy, the neo-Nazis.
Say what?
So he's desperate, and this is why, again, on one hand, I'm just trying to give you an insight into what goes on in my head. I'm not going to lie to you. On one hand, ladies and gentlemen, I'm an empathetic guy. I empathize with people. And I have to tell you, watching an older man, his entire legacy being dismantled before our eyes, it's tough to watch. I'm only a human being. But on the other side of the coin, I don't feel bad because he's a lying loser. I mean, he's a loser. By definition, he is a loser. He's making this up. So let's just to be clear on Biden's point. Trump has never condemned white supremacy. You heard it yourself right there. This is obviously a lie. Now, hat tip, I found this on Steve Guest's Twitter account for these headlines. Now, I want you to be careful here with these headlines. We deliberately did not use anything but left-leaning media outlets here to show you what a lie this is. Trump has never condemned white supremacy. Here's CNBC, headline number one. I'm just going to read the headlines, folks. Not Dan Bongino, not Bongino.com. Trump condemns racism, bigotry, and white supremacy in speech after mass shootings kill 31. Not my headline. I'm getting good at that. You see that, Joe? Everything's in reverse on the teleprompter. There's CNBC.
Very good. Yeah.
Let's go to Washington Post. Democracy dies in the darkness. That is the darkness, Washington Post. But here's the Washington Post headline, too. Check this little bad boy out. Remember, Trump has never condemned white supremacy, according to Biden. Headline, Washington Post. Trump condemns white supremacy, focuses on combating mental illness over new gun control measures. There you go. Headline right there. You're reading it yourself. YouTube.com/Bongino if you'd like the visuals to go along at home. Now, you'll say, assuredly, the left-leaning New York Times doesn't have an article about Trump condemning white supremacy, right? Can't be, because Biden just said he's never done it. I don't know. We're just going to have to check that out. Let's see the New York Times headline here. New York Times. Whoa!
Oh.
New York Times. Trump condemns white supremacy, but stops short of major gun controls. Folks, again, why do we do this on the show? You say, we already know this, Dan. We've heard the speeches by Trump condemning literally white supremacy. Because shockingly, there are liberals who listen to my show. Not that they listen, but there are liberals who listen to the show who are still confused about this. That is a lie. What Biden said is an outright lie. Now, in case you need more visual evidence, here's a President Trump tweet from his own account. The riots in Charlottesville a year ago resulted in senseless death and division. We must all come together as a nation. I condemn, let me repeat, I condemn a third time. I condemn all types of racism and acts of violence. Peace to all Americans. Again, Joe Biden's lying to you and telling you that. And that's why you're going to watch what he thought was a once proud legacy now fold into just a disaster of cosmically level humiliating proportions. This is a mess.
You just heard The Dan Bongino Show. You can also get Dan's podcasts on iTunes or SoundCloud. And follow Dan on Twitter 24/7 @DBongino.